All right, welcome back to Quixotic Heights, where we explore the impossible dreams that rise from life's most defining moments. Today's guest is a woman who turned a life-altering diagnosis into a creative awakening. When Renee Hill was diagnosed with breast cancer, she didn't retreat from life, she leaned into it. In the midst of treatment, uncertainty, and fear, she made a bold decision. She would finally get serious about writing. And what began as a deeply personal distraction became something far more powerful.
Yeah.
Her first book, Bobby and Patricia Joe, was written as a gift for her mother's 90th birthday, a tribute to legacy, love, and the sacred gift of still being here. And her second book, Bound, continues her journey as a storyteller, unafraid to explore what holds us captive and what sets us free. So before becoming an author, Renee spent 20 years as a local radio on-air personality,
Mhm.
performed in local theater, sang with choral groups like Steadfast Love, worked briefly in newspaper, and
Yeah.
devoted 2 decades to preteen ministry,
Yeah.
writing curriculum and shaping young hearts and minds. So storytelling has always been in her bones. So today we'll talk about writing through illness, courage in the face of mortality, faith under pressure, and what it means to leave something meaningful behind. So with that, welcome, Renee. How are you? How are you?
I am great.
This is going to be so much fun. Um, I'm really excited to get to know you. Let's start with your Quixotic Heights dream. Tell me what your dream in life was.
Well, I would say it has varied over the different years. It started out first you just wanting a family and children, and then I went into radio and wanted to do that, and then eventually into ministry. And um, I guess I haven't quit dreaming because I am
Mhm.
68 years old and now have time to write. I've always enjoyed putting words together, but I'm getting to live another one of my dreams. I mean, I'm getting to accomplish another. It's just not too late. It's never too
Yeah,
late to go for it.
absolutely.
Shoot for it. Why
Yes.
not? Why not?
Why not?
Yeah.
Listeners, why not? Because
Yes.
I agree, like every season of our life, things happen. Our focus and our dreams do change or pivot.
Yes.
And it's important to stay with the current you and propelling
Yeah.
forward. So I think that's
Hmm.
beautiful. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. You have
So I want
different seasons in your life, and different things are going on, and
yeah.
the empty nest meant for me that I have lots of time, and I've decided to use it. And I fix a cup of tea, and I write in the afternoons, and I just love it.
I love it too. I've got
Yeah.
my tea as well with lemon in here, so we're good to go. Well, I want to talk about one of the seasons in your life,
All
and
right.
it was when you first got your diagnosis.
Yes.
And tell me a little bit about, what you went through. How did that shift your perspective? Whatever you'd like to
Okay.
share.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I through that experience have become more conscientious about encouraging to just be open and encourage people. Go have yourself checked. Check. Go through the uh, checking at home, your personal checking, and don't put it off, because I initially it was time for my annual breast exam, and I had just had knee surgery, and I didn't really want to do it, but so I called and said, could I put that off? And they said, well, it will be summer if you put it off. It'd be months and months until if you put it off. So I thought, oh, all right. So I hobbled in there on my walker and had my breast exam. And just like I'd done every year forever, nothing different. But this time, the technician who was doing the ultrasound, and for me, it was the ultrasound that found it. Um, she kept working and working at it, and kept, and it nearly, I don't mean it was hurting, but I was very aware that she was, working on a certain area, trying to get a good picture. And after longer than usual, she, the doctor came in and said, "We have an area we're concerned about." You know, I never heard those words before, but today I did. Just a normal, everyday annual exam, but today was different. We have an area we're concerned about. We would like you to come back next week. We'll do a biopsy. And so I said, okay, you know, of course. And so then we came back the next week. Oh, and by the way, the little girl that was so diligent and kept just working and working, thought she saw something but wasn't quite sure, kept working at it. She had breast cancer, and so she was very conscient, very diligent, you know, very. I really appreciate her to this day. I owe her my life, I think, really. And so anyway, we came back for the biopsy. They did the biopsy and then went home, and a little bit of time passed, and get the phone call from the doctor at breast imaging, Go Breast Imaging. Anyway, that she called and said, "Renee, it's cancer." And I said, "Do what?" She said, "It's cancer." And I said, "What?" I mean, I was just stunned. I'm healthy. Look at me. I mean, I'm not, you know, cancer me. She said again, it's cancer. And I said, "Excuse me, are you telling me I have cancer?" And she said, "Yes, it's cancer." And so I was just shocked. I mean, look at me. I'm not sick. I'm healthy. I'm energetic. You know, I just couldn't believe it. So I disconnected that phone call, and my first response, I always thought if I got a diagnosis like that I would be terrified and be frozen in fear, you know. I thought like I wouldn't be able to move, but instead, my first reaction, there was no fear. I fell on my knees and I said, "God, I trust you. Whether you take me home or you leave me here, I trust you." That was it. I don't know why it was a weird response, but that's what happened. So then we went through all of the MRI and different things, and to see how far and then eventually they decided they were going to take out my some lymph nodes to see, I don't know, anyway, just make sure it wasn't in there. So they were able to do a lumpectomy because it was early detected and it was small. Now here's the thing about getting your annual when you're supposed to. It was estrogen fed. So if I had waited, if I'd postponed like I wanted to, I would have gone clear until the summer. That was October. I would have gone clear into the summer, you know, with doing my hormone replacement, my estrogen, and pouring fuel on that cancer fire, you know, and so I really am thankful I went ahead with the appointment, and that little girl was so diligent. And so they did a lumpectomy, and they also took out some of my lymph nodes to have a look at those. And somehow my lymph nodes were lost. So that was, for whatever reason, really upsetting to me.
Yeah.
Because the bruising and the pain, I still have lymphedema from the lymph node removal. Anyway, it's neither here nor there. The radiation was done in a way, he said, "I'm going to treat you as if the lymph nodes were also involved." And so I had radiation 15 rounds, I think, for, you know, where the area was, and then also for the lymph node area. He just treated me like it was in the lymph nodes too. And I'm just so thankful. But during all of that, going through all of that, I did decide, well, I'm going to try to knuckle down on this thing I've been toying with for a while and write this book about my parents and their romance. And it's called Bobby and Patricia Jo. That was he was Robert, but we called him Bobby sometimes. Anyway, it was kind of a way to distract me from everything that was going on, and thinking things you don't want to think, and keeping my focus. So
Yeah. Yeah.
that's my
Boy.
story. So from all of that, all I got to say is get your annual, do your checkups. It's important. Don't put it
Yeah.
off.
Yeah. I
Because the
mean,
early detection probably saved my life, or at least saved me from a lot more radical surgery, or other things, more chemo or whatever. It spared me a great deal just because I kept that appointment, even though it was very inconvenient because I was on a walker and all that. So
mhm. Yeah,
anyway,
absolutely. That's a good lesson to have because
yes,
we often feel invincible, and
yes, I do.
feeling fine. And
I
then,
know. I feel fine.
um, but Renee, I'm with you. I just came from my doctor's appointment for my annual, and then I came out with, a cardiology appointment, a
Yeah.
mammogram appointment, an MRI, and an ultrasound.
Oh,
And
wow.
colonoscopy. Like, what else is there?
Every orifice of my body.
Everything. So yes, go get it checked. You just never know, and early detection truly is the
Yes,
key
it
to
really is.
continuing your Quixotic Heights dream, right? So,
Right.
but with
Yeah.
this book, the Bobby and Patricia Joe book,
Yes.
um, how do you think that? Oh, good, you have
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
How do you think that personally changed your your lens in terms of the next step for you in pursuing your life in writing that book?
Well, I realized how much I enjoyed my afternoons sitting and putting words together and making them fit and mulling over, well, I don't know if that paragraph is just right, or it doesn't flow just right, or I just, I enjoyed it so much. And then when I saw this book in print, I mean, I would love to sell a bunch of books, of course, but my big moment is seeing this book, or this book in print. I mean, it was so fulfilling. I'd crossed the finish
Yeah.
line. I had accomplished my goal, and I don't mean I don't want to be John Grisham and sell a bunch. I'm just saying that was pretty rewarding to
Yeah,
me to
that's
to
so
sell
cool.
it.
So since we're
Yeah,
on the topic of that book, would you be able to do a reading from
sure,
Bobby and Patricia Joe?
sure. Uh,
Yeah.
I will. My parents were from two different schools, and these schools were um, big rivals, very
Mm.
big rivals. Sentinel and Port. Sentinel and Port were great rivals. Whenever our two basketball teams met on the court, it was guaranteed bedlam. Everyone in our area can retell the story of the night the lights went out during one of the conflicts between our two teams. In fact, songs were made up and sung repeatedly after that explosive night. The night the lights went out, la 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 la. The scene was a real tinderbox. That night, I was on the court of our gym, on the court of our gym, home of the Port Tigers. Jimmy Taylor was running the scoreboard, and there were only a few seconds left in that game with our arch enemy, the Sentinel Bulldogs. Amazingly, I could hear Tommy and Jack hollering over the crowd, "Shoot, Bobby, shoot!" as I launched a shot toward the goal. It was at that exact moment the lights went out. Unbelievable! When the lights came back on, Jimmy had added 2 points to our score, and the Port Tigers won. I felt it was a righteous win because I could have sworn I heard my ball swoosh through the net. Honest. To be fair, though, it was pitch black, and my ears may have heard what they wanted to hear. Wishful hearing. Did my shot actually go through that net or not? Was the blackout deliberate or simply a malfunction? These inquiries forever remain in question, the answer depending on who's telling the story. Fingers were definitely pointing and accusations flying after that night. Even to this day, it remains a sore spot for Sentinel alums. Controversial and intense, neck-to-neck conflicts like ours with Sentinel are not without consequences. And the next time we met, the Bulldogs on the court, Sentinel fan Ott Sudik was seen sitting in the stands holding a lantern, ready to provide a source of illumination should the lights just happen to go out again at a crucial moment.
I love
Okay.
it. I love it. Did you
Yeah.
write that book as like a memoir and did you alternate point of views between the two? How did you write it?
I wrote it like at times Patricia Jo is talking and then Bobby Joe is talking. So
Excellent.
back and forth.
Yeah. So what was your mom's reaction for her 90th birthday when you presented that book?
Oh, I wish I had that picture to show you. Yeah, she was delighted. Yeah, she was delighted.
Oh,
And this will sound creepy, but I've actually gone out to my daddy's grave. He's passed away, and I read him the
hmm.
Port the Port Sentinel Rivals chapter,
Yeah.
uh, and
Uh,
I
I
think he
believe he
liked
heard it.
it.
Yeah. No, I believe he heard it, and I
Yeah.
don't think it's creepy at all,
Yeah.
unless you're doing it, at 3 o'clock in the morning. But I think I think that's beautiful. Very, very beautiful. Well, good. I'm glad. And then did your mom get to um like, at 90 years old, I imagine that her vision might not be as good as it used to be. So did you read it to her or how did she know about the story?
My mom, who's now 91, um, still drives. I don't want to scare you, but she drives as well as most people on, and her vision's fine. She doesn't
I
wear
love it.
glasses. She might wear readers now and then. She's very sharp and she's engaged.
Holy moly.
Yeah,
Now that
yeah.
is a woman who needs to be on my podcast too.
You really do. You really do.
Yeah.
She's an inspiration. She truly is. She has not quit living large.
Wow, good
Yeah.
for her. That's
Yeah.
definitely something to aspire to.
Yeah. Well, that's, here we are.
Yeah.
I'm just
Yeah.
trying to keep up with my mom.
Okay. Well, let's talk about your other book,
All right.
Found, which I understand is not going to be the only standalone book because you're going to do a series, right?
Right. I've already got number 2 ready. But I'm still kind of sanding it, the rough edges. And I've
Hmm.
already started on number 3. It is called the Danport series. Yes. And Danport is a community in Vermont. And
Yeah,
it's a
we
little
teased
small
about that, right?
community.
Because I'm like, where does this take place?
Yeah, we're in Danport, Vermont, which is a fictional. It's a fictional community. It's all fiction. So I don't want anybody thinking, is that me in the book she's talking about?
Yeah,
It's not. It's all
yeah.
fiction. I've
Well,
already
what
had
is it
somebody
about?
say, "Oh, sorry." Well, it's about um, it's about spiritual warfare. It's about church conflict,
Hmm.
and the thing about church conflict is that can really be applied to work conflict or family conflict or friendship conflict. I mean, anytime you're trying to have relationships with different people and you're working towards a common goal, different people have or a common goal. You're working towards a common goal, and different people are involved. They have different ideas about different perspectives on how it should be done, and so sometimes people get on each other's nerves, or start pointing fingers or get upset. And I am under the impression, as I've had comments from people who've already read the book, they can relate to this. It's happened to them, or they've been in a church that it happened. So it does happen a lot of times, unfortunately, in churches. And so maybe
Yeah,
I hope this will be helpful. It'll maybe address some things that people need to look
yeah.
at from a look at maybe from a higher perspective. Look up instead of at each other.
Yeah,
Yeah.
do a reading for us, and then I want to ask you, what inspired you to write the book? So,
Okay. All
yeah,
right. You want me to go ahead and read them?
go for it. Yeah, if
All
you have it
right.
with you, let's
All
do
right.
it.
Okay. This is kind of towards the end of book 1, Bound, the Danport series. And there has been a lot of pointing fingers and a lot of innuendos and gossip and things being said, and it's culminating. It culminated into this meeting that is high tension. Things are really getting stressful. And in this book, Emil is the character who is bound. He is the stranger who comes into town. And Dade is the demon who is his handler.
Mm.
So I just thought I should explain that before we begin. All right, this is called The Meeting. We must never forget that Satan is always at church before the preacher is in the pulpit or a member is in the pew. He comes to hinder the sower, to impoverish the soil, or to corrupt seed. And that's a quote by Mark Hitchcock. The church sanctuary was humming. The place was packed. Henry was stunned. He'd never seen it so full. He'd not seen this many people in church since Easter. There wasn't an empty seat. I guess folks came out to see the show, he thought sadly. Sitting next to Ruth, he wondered if he should have brought his children. Was this a night that would shame them? Before the night was over, would they be embarrassed that he was their father? But Ruth had insisted. We're a family, Henry. We stick together. They may be young, but don't discount your children's ability to pray for you, support you, and love you unconditionally. And so they were all here, his entire tribe, all sitting in a row beside their mother, beside him. The chairman of the elders called the meeting to order and asked Brother Richard to share his motion, which he triumphantly did, relishing the moment in the spotlight. Once he'd finished and his motion had been seconded right on cue, the chairman asked if there was any discussion. Brother Frederick stood and began to defend Pastor Scott and Henry. He'd barely gotten his opening remarks out of his mouth when Sister Jocelyn jumped up and screamed, "Fornicator!" Stunned, Brother Frederick was left speechless, wondering from where that had come. Clearing his throat, he said kindly, "Sister Jocelyn, I'm not sure to whom or to what you are referring, but I'm here now to state my irrevocable belief in and support of our pastor and of Henry." Richard pounced to his feet and shouted, sit down, you deviant." Confused, Brother Frederick slowly took his seat. At this, the dam broke, and the church erupted into total chaos, an outrageous uproar, complete with arguing and tears. It was as if they'd left their Christianity at the door. Who were these people, Pastor Scott thought as he shook his head mournfully. Emil sat in the pew, satisfied he'd accomplished his goal, but at the same time very sad. Yes, mission accomplished, another church destroyed. Visible only to Emil, Dade was standing on top of the pulpit, prancing as he cackled like a hyena. That was it. Emil had had all he could take. He stood to walk out when he noticed movement at the front of the church. Turning, he stopped to watch. So far, only words had flown, but they were just moments away from actual fists being thrown when Sister Jewel rose quietly and stepped up to the front of the church, where she stood, waiting for the church to settle down. When people finally began to take note of her standing stoically before them, they looked back and forth at one another, eventually sitting down, tucking their heads and glancing off to the side and behind them, almost as if they were ashamed, embarrassed. Without raising her voice, Sister Jewel stood fearlessly and waited a good full minute, letting the silence settle. "Be still and know that I am God." She heard his spirit whisper into her inner ear, so she waited another minute before calmly beginning. She started with a name, then another. She named off one and then the next, as if reading from a list, but she had no notes, one after the other, just names from the church membership roster. But somehow the full pronouncement of each person's guilt weighed heavily upon those named, one at a time, out of her mouth. One by one, she listed off the names of the members of Community Church, and as she did, their ears heard the accusations, the sin that accompanied it. Everyone was guilty. None were righteous, no, not one. Godly remorse, the kind that leads to repentance, began to fall on the entire congregation. In one fell swoop, each member of Community Church began to weep and cry out to God for mercy. So great was their conviction. Everyone in the congregation but Richard and Sister Jocelyn, that is. Wait, what? No, stop, no, Dade screeched in his head. At that, he poked Sister Jewel hard, digging his finger in. He twisted it into her back, under her shoulder blade. He finished it off by squeezing her chest cavity around her heart firmly, right in the middle of her recitation. Sister Jewel grabbed her chest and looked up. Heaven seemed to open, and Sister Jewel appeared radiant and spotlighted as if she were glowing. What? Who did she see? Noticing her distress, Pastor Scott rushed to her support and hollered for his wife, Heather, to call an ambulance. Richard was deflated. The meeting had ended abruptly with Sister Jewel being loaded into the ambulance, and that was it for now. No church-wide decision about Pastor or Henry had been made. No actual vote had been taken. But Richard was not deterred. He would conquer. This was only a temporary setback. Finally at home, Richard eased into his recliner, resting his head back. In the dark, he stared at the ceiling. Tonight had not gone at all as he'd anticipated. Rehashing each moment of the meeting, he was unexpectedly shaken, taken aback by clapping. Richard looked toward the applause where he noticed, leaning against the living room wall, barely discernible, the figure of a lean silhouette who was methodically and rhythmically giving him a standing ovation. Faster than lightning, Richard raised up in his recliner and screamed like a girl. The gloomy outline of Dade only laughed at him. Shh, now, my pet. Don't hyperventilate. I just thought I'd stop by to congratulate you, my dear. It breathed in an indistinct rasp. For what? Who are you? Richard stuttered, his voice getting higher with each word. Why, Richard, my pet, I'm the one you serve, quipped the shadow. And tonight was your best performance. Bravo! Serve? I don't serve you, whoever you are. I go to church regularly. I'm an elder. Why, I even go to the prayer room once a week. Yes, my beloved, you do many things. You do a great deal, hissed the shape in agreement. Not to feel too badly, my boy. Busyness is a common snare, he added while cleaning one of his fingernails. In an afterthought, the demon gloated. I've snatched so many that way over the years. Get out! Get out in Jesus' name! At this, the pungent figure stepped forward, slapping his knee. He bent over in wickedly boisterous guffaws, as if it was under a beam. Richard now was able to make out its ghoulish features, contorting in unholy laughter. Catching its breath at last, Dade gasped and said so authoritatively, my love, I'm impressed. Not, Dade winked. My dear boy, Sister Jewel, I know. Pastor Scott, I know. Why, I even know Henry, the one you've nicknamed Hick. But who are you to speak in the name? Just exactly who do you think you are against me? What possible authority could you entertain over me? Dade paused for effect. I own you. Richard withered, shrinking into his recliner, back pressed against the leather as Dade slithered toward him slowly with measured steps.
All righty, bravo.
Okay.
I'm like, the whole time I'm thinking the listeners are in for a treat because it's like theater. Like I mean, I can see where the radio personality and the theater background comes from as you're reading and you're animated and you're acting it out, and it's just, oh my God, that was beautiful.
Oh, thank you. We need to do an audio book, huh?
Yes, yes, you do. Are you going to?
I mean, I want to do all the different parts. Like I want to make the demon, I own you, my pet. The
See?
demons are they're the best characters as far as interesting. I don't mean they're the best
Yeah.
characters, character
Oh,
wise.
that was so good. It was thrilling. It was creepy. It was delicious. It was
Oh, was
all of
it
that
creepy?
stuff.
Good. I'm good at creepy. Ah.
Well, thank you for sharing that.
Yeah.
It was beautiful.
Thank
Um,
you.
okay, so let's talk about another season in your life, which is the radio and
Okay.
theater. So tell me more about, the radio personality stuff. What was that like for you? How did you get into it? Were
Okay.
some of the awesome episodes or maybe interviews you've done?
Yeah.
Yeah.
When I was 18, or no, I was 16 when I actually started. My dad knew I was interested and wanted to be on the radio, and so he got me a job. My first job was a little station, KTJS in Hobart, and I just did the weekends. I did they did a lot of church programs. I'd load the tapes. It was not a lot of talking, might say the weather or whatever, but that's how I got started. And then eventually I went to KADS radio in Elk City, and I had a morning show there from 8 to noon, and did let's see, it was what was that called? Radio talk. You'd think I would remember that, but it was a show, a trade. Well, they sold things. People would call in. They'd say, "I have an old wheelbarrow I want to sell, and I'll sell it for $2 if you'll come get." And they would advertise things like that. It was a call in where they could advertise things, and so I did that for the first 30 minutes of the show, and then I did AM Today, where I interviewed local people with things coming up, or I did interview some celebrities if they had a movie coming out or something they wanted to promote, and then go to just playing music. And when I started, Amy, this will tell you how long it was. I mean, now they're satellite or they're digital, but when I started, we actually spun a plastic, vinyl. We spun and so I learned how to cue it up to where I'd know how much talk time I had, so I could talk right up to the beginning, first word, and same with talking right up to the news. That's why I know I've said a couple of times in this book, something about 60 seconds being a long time, or she waited 60. It's a long time.
Yeah.
Because I've talked, I have to talk all the way up. This is KDS radio, and coming up to the top of the hour, local news or national news or whatever, so anyway, that's what I did. And then they went to reel. So we had reels to reel loaded, and we could still talk in between them, and we would know how much intro time we had, before the actual singing started. And then they went to satellite, so just different phases that radio went through while I was involved. I would spend the afternoons. I would do an interview for AM Today, which would air the next day or at some point, and then Tradio. That was the name of the selling show. Tradio.
Tradio, interesting.
Yeah, they'd sell Tradio, where they'd sell a wheelbarrow or whatever, and then AM Today. So then when I'd get off in the afternoons, I'd do an interview that I'd tape for the next day. And then I'd type up maybe as many as 30 commercials, 30-second commercials, 30-second commercials. And I'd go into the production room, spend my afternoon and whip those out. But that was when, if you messed up, you had to redo the whole commercial. I could have stopped and spliced my mistake out or whatever, but it would have been a manual splicing. Like we had a little deal where we'd take the tape and lay it over and splice it and put it back together. But now it's digital. You mess up and excuse me, and they can do that with that. It's not as hard to change things, you know. So
Yeah. Yeah. Well, what about theater? Tell me how you got into that.
theater, yeah, had several plays. The last one I played Maria in The Sound of Music. And Amy, I still remember my blocking. I know, excuse me, I know where to stand, you know, and my day in the sun or my day in the hills has come to an end. Was up there, then I went down, spun around. I'm in the middle of the stage. I knew it's funny how that sticks.
Aw.
Anyway, also was in The King and I and Mame, several, and the Orphan Annie. Yeah,
Really?
several.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
That's amazing. So how does having a live audience to perform to different creatively or maybe in an intimacy way with writing, for an
Yeah.
um what are your
When I
thoughts?
was on stage, I would wear no contacts and no glasses, so I couldn't really see people. So I couldn't tell if they were liking it or not. And like on radio, you just talk like you're talking to one person. You don't talk to masses. You don't say y'all or whatever. You talk as if you have one audience. In singing on stage, sometimes it would just depend if it was a receptive audience and if I felt like they were worshiping with us, they were with us, then I could look in their eyes and, but if it was a hostile audience, I didn't look at their eyes because trying to get through the program or the presentation without,
Yeah.
messing up or getting stumped.
So is it rare to have a hostile audience? I mean, I would imagine most people are there to have a good time and, they're
You'd hope, yeah, but
yeah.
sometimes, somebody might not care for the style of music that our group did, or maybe they thought it was too loud or had too much. Well, back then it might have had too much beat, too I don't know, frantic for them. I don't know.
For whatever reason, they just
it wasn't a hymn. Yeah. They thought it, maybe it wasn't a hymn, and some people back then might have been troubled by that. And we did try not to. We tried to be sensitive to our audience and not, because we were trying to get a message across and not offend anyone. So we did try to be sensitive about that, but sometimes sometimes
it is what it is.
It is what it is. It's just like not everybody will like this,
Yeah.
I mean, you want everybody.
What inspired you to write Bound? And why are you writing a series?
Well, been through some church splits, church troubles, I should say, and then one big split. And it was so painful. And because they become, we'd been there for 40 years. They become your family. You love these people. We were very involved in church, in every aspect, leadership committees. We were very involved. And so it hurts. You love your pastor or whatever, and it hurts the different things that they're put through. And people take sides and people get upset. And I mean, it's painful. And my goal during all of that was to keep my eye on the ball. When half of our church left, my husband and I felt like we were supposed to stay because I had a preteen ministry and he was in the deacon body. We had responsibility, we felt like, and we also wanted these people that were still there to know we loved them in Christ. We weren't jumping ship. We were staying, even though we had a difference of opinion. And I just tried to keep my eye on the ball or the mission and not on different arguments or different rumors or different innuendos or speculation or, I don't know, complaints or,
it's hard to stay focused when you have all that noise going on.
It was a lot of noise, but
Yeah.
And that can happen, Amy, as you know, in a workplace. It can happen. It's not just church but it does sometimes happen in churches. And you would think of all the places it should not happen in church. I mean, the scripture says they'll know us by the love we have for one another. Well, if a church is at each other, it's kind of hard to be known as a Jesus follower because you get your eye off the ball, like I said, and then you're not doing what you were called to do. You're not reaching out.
Yeah. So what you did the ministry with preteens. What does that look like? Because you said you wrote curriculum for them.
Yeah.
What does that entail?
Well, I was in preteen ministry for 23 years, and that met every Sunday morning, and then on Wednesdays, I believe it was once or twice a month we had, or maybe more, we had a program after school called Talk About It. And then we would also have in the summers, we would have, VBX, which is Vacation Bible School, but for preteens, about a week. And my husband is a carpenter, so we built pretty elaborate sets and enjoyed that so much. And then we'd also have preteen camp, and I'm a Marriott girl, so going to camp was a real challenge for me, but I did it for years. And then there was Falls Creek. We would do that. So it was pretty involved. There was a lot. There were also events, lock-ins. We'd have an extracurricular, something that wasn't like we might go to a concert, or we might go see or go to a splash pad or laser tag, what's that called? Laser tag. Yeah.
Yep.
Or something that kids would like. We might do that with them. We'd do something once a month. And then I tried to make contacts during the week, see my kids, especially if they hadn't been to Sunday school, or talk about it, or talking stuff. If they hadn't been, I'd try to go make home visits pretty regularly, and that's where you get a feel of, some preteens have great home lives, but a lot of them don't, and it's and some of that's addressed in here. All fiction. I'm not taking any real story, but you see, it was inspired, I should say that, by experience and
Yeah. No, that's what we write. We write what we know. We write based on our experiences.
Yes, but not. I mean, I'm not. There's no. You won't know your name or recognize yourself in here.
Thank God.
I mean, it's fiction. It's fiction. Yeah.
Yeah. So other than, writing right now, what do you see as your next season in life? Like what projects, what talents that you have that you want to explore further? Anything?
Well, we like to travel. We really enjoy it. We've been to Russia. We've been to Israel. We've been one of our favorite places is Rome. We enjoyed our last time to Rome. Our guide took us kind of in the footsteps of Paul when Paul was there, and that was so cool to see where Paul had been imprisoned and where Paul was the home that he had kind of a home. He was kind of in prison, but it was home. He was at home, and then we saw where he was beheaded, and we saw where when he would walk into Rome, we actually saw the stones that he would have walked on. I mean, the stones are still there. The street, the road that led into Rome that he walked on, and where he would have met Aquila and Priscilla. You know, we saw and touched that, and it was just kind of neat. So we like to travel. That would be something I'd like to continue doing. But writing is I can't even hardly see beyond that as far as another hobby or whatever. But I like to garden. I'll grow flowers this summer and some herbs.
That's cool.
I have a pond of koi fish. I enjoy those and play the guitar a little bit. And we have a poodle. In the book, there's a poodle called Snooky. Our poodle is called Rusty, but they're both little poodles, and so
I love it.
Yeah.
Okay, well, as we're wrapping up already on our hour, like
oh, I'm sorry, I've talked your leg off.
No, this is great, Renee, because this is your platform, and this is the whole point of the podcast.
Okay.
Is to talk about you and what drives you, your dreams, your passions, your challenges, all that stuff. No, it's been great, and that's why I'm like shocked that it's already like at the hour.
Okay, all right.
So that's good. That's good. Yeah. But before we wrap up, I mean, what other topics that that you may want to talk about that we haven't discussed yet?
Well, I'm hoping that people will, as satisfying as it was to see it in print, and as thankful as I am to your company for getting it there, I'd that is satisfying, very fulfilling. But I'd like to sell some of them, of course. And I'd like people to read it. I think it'll help. That has been my prayer, that it'll be beneficial and that it'll be helpful as well as entertaining.
Yeah, absolutely. What have you been doing to promote your work and try to get your information out there to the readers?
Well, have it on social media. I did a newspaper interview yesterday. I have a book signing at Place of Grace in Clinton, the 14th. And then in the city, in the village at Maddie's, it's a coffee shop. Let's see, look at my calendar. It is the 24th. No, the 21st. Maddie's coffee shop. I'll be there on the 21st, and then a wine festival with you on the 28th. Wine and Crafts.
Yes, in Norman, Oklahoma.
In Norman.
I'm excited for that one too, because there'll be some other Quill Out Publishing authors.
Yes.
So that'll be fun to hang out, talk about books, and sell, right?
I learned so much I go to OWFI in May, and I learned so much. Like to write this book, I had to have a big poster board, and each character had an index card with who they are. And I learned that from attending one of the workshops at OWFI, how to keep it all straight when you're trying to put a story together. Isn't that cool?
No, it's very cool. And for those who don't know who or what OWFI is, you want to tell them what that is?
Oklahoma Writers Federation
Inc.
Okay. And they meet in May, and it's so valuable to me. I've gone 2 or 3 years, and it's really been beneficial. If nothing else, just to get to, rub shoulders with people like you. I mean, it's really cool. I like it.
It's cool. And I encourage everybody to go to a writers conference, locally or whatever, state, country. But they are very valuable because so many people from different genres, different industry backgrounds. I mean, it's just a great way to network and get
Yes.
inspired again, especially when you're,
Inspired. Exactly. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, no,
Yeah.
I look forward to OWFI every single year. And
Yes.
this coming year, I'm not speaking, so I'm excited to just participate as an attendee.
Yeah, but you do a great job. I enjoyed your breakout session very much.
Oh, well, thank you. Which one did
Yeah.
you attend? Remind me.
Well, I feel like it was last year. You were on my little, I do a summary video, and you were pictured there speaking.
Well, thank you for
Yeah.
attending that.
Yeah, it was great.
Okay, so where can people find you, Renee, if they want to learn more about your work?
Um, I am at I'm on social media. They can find me there. I'm on Amazon. It's on Amazon. And social media, I'm at, let me get that exactly right here. It's called, okay, Renée Hill Writes. Renée Hill Writes, and it has that little picture of me.
Yes.
Yeah, looking, I don't know,
Renee Hill writes, yes.
a candid shot. Yeah.
We'll include
And
it in the show notes so people can, have no excuses. They'll find
yeah.
it. Yeah.
And there's a blog. I have a blog that they can connect to through my Instagram. So,
Oh, I love it. What do
and
you
there,
talk
and
about?
well, sometimes I put on there some of the things I've entered in contests,
Mhm.
and I just go ahead and post them after the contest, and post them up there. One of them was about cancer, and one of them was about dying. One of them is called An Honorable Man.
Yeah.
But it also has where you can buy my book there, and you can go from the blog right to the source and buy it there. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
but
Well, that's lovely. And I think, if anybody's really interested in spiritual warfare or just, um, interesting characters about real stuff, I mean,
yeah,
definitely, I hope they go out and get Bound and then look for
yeah,
Bound 2
yeah,
and 3, which is
yes,
amazing that you have a
yes,
series coming. Yes,
yes,
absolutely.
yeah, that'd be great.
Well, listeners, I hope that Renee's story shows you how courage doesn't always look loud. It sometimes looks like just sitting at a keyboard and in the middle of chemo treatment.
Yeah,
Sometimes it looks like honoring your mother, while you both
yeah,
still have the time. And sometimes it looks like finally saying, now, I will do it now. Renee reminds us that it's never too late to begin, and
that's
that
right.
even in our most fragile seasons, we are still creators and still dreamers, still capable of building something that outlives fear. And if today's conversation encouraged you, please share this episode with someone who needs a reminder that story still matters,
Yeah,
especially in the hard seasons. And as always, keep climbing your own quixotic heights, even when the mountains feel impossible. Until next time, thank you so much, Renee, for being with us today.